Cosmic Law, Reincarnation. In one of the world's greatest mystical literary masterpieces, the Bhagavad Gita, the mythic personification of divine love within every person, Lord Krishna, speaks to his human charge and student Arjuna. You and I have passed through many births, Arjuna. You have forgotten, but I remember them all. In the West, the cosmic law of reincarnation is commonly associated with Eastern philosophy, and for a good reason. The dual concepts of karma, the law of cause and effect, and reincarnation, according to J. Bruce Long in the Encyclopedia of Religion, have done more to shape the whole of Asian thought than any other concept or concepts. Furthermore, he writes, it might be difficult to identify an idea or set of ideas that has exercised a comparable influence through the entire scope of Western thought, including the cardinal concepts in the writings of Plato and Aristotle. What is indicated here beyond the specifics of a single cosmic principle is the tremendous power that cosmic laws exert within people's mind and lives. Reincarnation, the doctrine that an individual soul reappears after death in another and different bodily form, appears early on the scene in human development, much like the law of sacrifice. For example, the Arunta people of Central Australia, whom anthropologists classify as having a Stone Age society, believe in reincarnation. In fact, it is the belief of non-literate culture all around the world. Leading investigators conclude that the belief in pre-existence and reincarnation arose simultaneously with the birth of human culture. The great 18th century French philosopher Voltaire proposed, the doctrine of metempsychosis or reincarnation is above all neither absurd nor useless. It is not more surprising to be born twice than once. Everything in nature is resurrection. However, reincarnation is not taught or believed in the West, particularly in Christian societies, although in the last several decades there have been some signs of change. In a channeled communication on October 4, 1960, Jesus revealed that reincarnation should be taught. It was never Spirit's will not to teach reincarnation. It is in the teaching. In no religion and no teaching could it be removed entirely. Always, somehow, somewhere a small seed or spark is left. This is true in Christian and Judaic teachings today. Reincarnation is there, but only in a very small segment of truth. They could not remove it entirely, though many had tried. One notable example of an early Christian writing that was excluded from the New Testament canon is Luke's second book of Acts. This book is extraordinary because it shows Mary, mother of Jesus, explaining the law of reincarnation to the apostles and disciples at the time of her ascension. She reviews many of her previous incarnations with Jesus. Among them is Jesus' incarnation as Khufu, Melchizedek, Zarathustra, Gautama Buddha, and Socrates. The second book of Acts originates with the manuscript of Origen, the greatest Christian theologian of the 3rd century. In a communication through me on March 3, 1964, the Apostle Paul gave his authentication to the Scripture. In the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, a physical demonstration of the laws of reincarnation is described in the account of Jesus' transfiguration. This demonstration of Christ's consciousness was explained by Archangel Uriel in a communication on August 18, 1970. In the Transfiguration on the Mount, where Jesus projected 2 incarnations of himself, Moses and Elias or Elijah, as well as his higher form as Jesus of Nazareth, the disciples witnessing this were able to see 3 projections of the same Spirit on 3 separate occasions of soul evolvement. They were able to comprehend that the 3 were as one, but the 3 served different purposes at 3 distinct eras and evolutionary periods within the growth pattern of that particular spirit, or I am self-consciousness. It has become necessary in these end days of time for many to experience the various extensions or soul patterns of themselves at different parts of their unfolding. In order to do this, they must come to the comprehension that all is under the control of the Spirit or the I am self-incarnate. In this period of comprehension, one can see or receive simultaneously several soul incarnations or patterns at a split second, and conceive of their purpose or their interrelationship and of their various aspects. Several points about the law of reincarnation are revealed in this communication. First, reincarnation is true. Second, information about past lives and past experiences from our soul records will be revealed to many of us, if they have not been already. Third, the purpose of soul revelation is to aid our spiritual evolvement. Fourth, this law allows us to incarnate repeatedly. In so doing, we work to improve our own karmic situations as well as serve others. Reincarnation is necessary for our growth and evolution, as explained in this communication by the Apostle Paul on March 25, 1958. Man grows and slips back, grows and slips back, seldom is it all in one direction. That is why we have the law of reincarnation, so man can repeatedly return to learn his lessons. When he learns a lesson, he cannot unlearn it. It goes with him, and he uses it, and thereby strengthens it by that use. He comes to learn certain other lessons which have been difficult for him. By practicing, suffering, living, he is taught and strengthened to grow in new directions, to overcome old, bad, useless habits. One widely held misconception about the interworking of three divine laws, growth and evolution, cause and effect, and reincarnation, is an idea called transmigration. This belief takes many forms throughout the world, but in general it is the view that living beings evolve into higher or lower orders of life in future incarnations, depending on whether their actions are good or bad in their present life. According to this conception, if a person lived an evil life, he could go in the next life and be reborn as an animal, or even as a plant or a rock. Conversely, a life form of a lower kingdom, say a mineral, could evolve kingdom by kingdom into an angel if it accumulated enough good lifetimes. The theory of transmigration is not true. Angels remain angels. People remain people. Animals, plants, and minerals remain within their respective kingdoms. As children of God, the race of man works for the spiritual upliftment of the nature kingdoms. For millions of years, we have utilized our Christ power to unify with and become one in conscience with individual or collective nature beings in order to learn how to interact lovingly with them and mutually evolve. Communions with nature beings at this level of integration have been achieved and will continue. The memories of such experiences have their basis in truth, but in this mortal frame of mind, which emphasizes physical, material existence, man has misunderstood the memory of this spiritual activity and has construed it to be a physical reality. As a result, the false idea of transmigration was formulated. An example of reincarnation for the purpose of serving others was given on May 6, 1960, by Zolanda, an Atlantean incarnation of Mary the Mother. We are the White Brotherhood, that force dedicated to the salvation of the race on earth. Many leave the earth and evolve to higher spheres, but some are dedicated to remain earthbound. For the advancement of the race of these men or sons of God, many are reincarnated on earth to serve as fellow beings, others remain in the etheric, and some go on to the other planets. There is a word for one who remains earthborn or to be of divine service to others. It is an avatar. The name comes from the Sanskrit word avatara, which literally means descent. Ascended masters, who are not compelled by the need to balance a negative personal karma, become avatars when they incarnate over and over on earth to serve the race of man. Returning to the words of Krishna, whenever dharma, manifestation of divine order, declines and the purpose of life is forgotten, I manifest myself on earth. I am born in every age to protect the good, to destroy evil, and to reestablish dharma. One of the most important fulfillments of the law of reincarnation, besides being born, growing, and evolving, is knowing why we are born, and what is the purpose of our incarnation. In a communication on May 3, 1961, Sananda Jesus the Christ, spiritual leader of all who incarnate on and serve planet Earth, raises the same question. I ask you and suggest most earnestly and pleadingly, meditate upon this purpose. Meditate upon the reason why you are here, why you have come into this life expression at this all-crucial moment for this particular planet. It is true that almost all of you have incarnated on this planet many, many times in the past for other reasons. Of course, you have incarnated in other planes and dimensions and on other planets as well, but we are not concerned with this. These are interesting proofs, these are interesting theories, but they do not serve your present-day needs unless they reveal to you the purpose of why you are here. Dwelling on this, for I tell you we are going into the most important segment of time this planet has known in the last 206,000 years. Let us ask this question of our I Am selves and expect to receive an answer. We personally must fulfill this law like every other cosmic law. Just being born, remaining alive, and making a living are not enough. We must accomplish the purpose for which we do these things. Let us always remember to affirm a most vital element of this eternal law, to be love incarnate. Wherever and for whatever reason we may incarnate in the universe, only when we are divine love incarnate can we be who we truly are, the I Am Self, the Christ, the only begotten Son of our Father, Mother God. End of chapter.